Welcome, strangers, to Silver Screen Review. This is a show where we watch movies and then we get together and talk about it. Welcome, everybody, to MMDTM, our first episode of Silver Screen Review. Here we are. This is going to be somewhat similar to our small documentary series that we do, but instead of documentaries, we're watching movies.
Yay.
Picture films, as they say.
We're going to the picture. Moving picture.
We're going to the picture films.
Let's all go to the movie.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and have ourselves a snack.
Yow! Oh gosh, that was...
Yeah, it was. So we've watched a movie, and now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Silver Screen Review is going to be part of our recurring thing, just like you've been seeing over the last, or hearing, or experiencing over the last couple of weeks. We did, what did we do? We did Happening Now. We did What Do You Know? We just did board games last week, or whenever that was. So anyway, this is going to be a recurring thing, so I hope you like it. Again, just like the rest of our stuff, it'll be approximately 30 minutes or so, however long it takes us to talk about these movies. To Taco Bell these movies. I'm your host. I'm Jeff Kolaski. Lauren's a host. She's here. She's my sister. And then our mother is the other host, Mama Kathy, over there. Why don't you go out, listeners, and rate and review this podcast?
That would be cool. Silver Screen Review us.
Right, Silver Screen Review us. Go out and give us a comment, give us a like, give us some love on our social media. Shoot us a email, mymamadonetoltmepodcast@gmail.com, and look in our show notes for all that stuff.
Yep. Show notes.
Okay, this week we brought something really special.
Very
to Silver Screen Review.
Very, very special.
Mom found a movie for us to watch. This is a 2022 movie on Netflix called Aftersun. I love you.
Love you. Dad, he's good. Oh my god, he's doing some real slow motion ninja moves. Think you'll ever move back to Scotland?
No.
Why?
And there's this feeling, once you leave where you're from, that you don't totally belong there again. You know, I want you to know that you can talk to me about anything. Whatever parties you go to, boys you meet, drugs you take.
Dad! Oh my god, what even is that?
These are my moves.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
That's not embarrassing. You okay through there?
I don't know, I guess. I just feel a bit down or something.
What you mean?
Don't you ever feel like tired and down and feels like your bones don't work, like you're sinking?
You never know where you'll end up, though. You can live wherever you want to live. Be whoever you want to be. You have time.
I hope you all have seen this, because if you have, you're going to know that this was, well, let's get into it. This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I'm sorry. This is a story of Sophie and her dad, Callum. Sophie reflects on the shared joy and private melancholy of a holiday she took with her father 20 years earlier. Memories real and imagined fill the gaps between as she tries to reconcile the father she knew and the man she didn't. Written and directed by Charlotte Wells, starring Paul Mescal, Frankie Corrillo, and Celia Rawson Hall. Distributed and streamed by Netflix. We'll have a link to all that credit information in the show notes.
Show notes.
Let's get into it. Quick warning before we talk about this. This is your spoiler alert. If you want to see the movie before we talk about it, go and watch it and then come back. Or
Just don't.
do me a favor and don't watch this movie and save yourself the time. Mom.
Yes, honey.
Why Aftersun?
Well, it had just been released on Netflix.
Yep.
So that's how I saw it. It came across on email. Here's a movie you might like.
Mhm.
And when I read that synopsis of it,
Right.
I had a really
It
good
sounds
feeling
sweet.
that it was going to be sweet,
Yep.
kind of maybe a coming of age thing.
Yep.
I could surmise that it was a daughter with her father who had divorced the mother. It was a single dad, and
Yeah.
she was having a special summer with her dad. And
Right.
I thought, oh, this is something that I could really like.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was told about it, I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 96%
I know it.
on the
I
tomato
know.
meter.
We're gonna get
It
there
is
here.
certified fresh.
Yep, we're gonna get there here. But okay.
So that's why I picked it.
Yeah. Had anyone seen or heard of this before?
No.
So this, yeah. Well, okay.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. This. Let's talk about what stood out to us about this movie. First of all, Lauren.
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie overall?
Overall,
Mm-hmm.
hate.
You hated it.
Hated it.
I was not a fan of this movie either.
Yeah.
Mom,
I did not like it.
no.
I tried to like it.
I
There
wanted to like
there were
it.
aspects of it that I did like, and that was like, I mean, I do you want me to say what
Yeah,
it
go
was?
ahead. Yep, we're
Okay,
getting to
I really
yeah.
didn't like the story.
There
at
wasn't
all.
Yeah, what
It-
story?
And my last comment in my notes was, what was the point of this whole
Yeah.
movie?
Yes.
The whole movie was a waste of time.
It was a waste of time. It was sad. It was
Mm-hmm.
dark.
Mm-hmm.
But there were certain things about it that I liked. I
Mm-hmm.
liked it was almost like a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like you were watching what they were filming on the camera.
Yeah, it was kind of a slice of life
Yeah,
kind of movie.
it was quiet. Like there wasn't a whole lot of production with music in the background and all
Right.
that stuff. It was just them talking.
Yeah.
There were certain parts that I thought the direction was pretty cool. When, for instance, like when they were in the hotel room and I think he said, put the camera down, and she quit filming, but you could still see them in the black screen of the TV and in the mirror.
Yeah, the
you know,
cinematography was
the
really,
cinematography
really
was
good.
really good.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was
the way
neat,
it was
yeah.
put together,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. And sometimes there were quiet moments that just went on forever. Like when
Oh.
you stood on the beach and it's just like, how long
Okay,
is
so I am finding it very difficult to come up with a single entertaining part of this
No,
movie.
No, it wasn't
So-
entertaining.
Why do we watch movies? Why do
be
I watch
entertained.
movies? To be entertained, right? Or
Right.
to elicit a certain feeling.
or to
And if that-
escape
and
the
if-
life that you're in
Maybe,
for something
yeah.
that's maybe a little
more exciting or
fanciful
yeah.
or a little lighthearted.
When I watch a movie, I want to be entertained. Whether that's like you said, being scared, being made to laugh, cry, something. Now, did this movie elicit some feelings? Yes. But they weren't feelings that I enjoyed.
No,
Come on up.
neither.
And it was one of those movies that I kept waiting for something to happen, you know?
Yeah, me too.
But nothing
It was
ever
like you were
did.
right on the verge of something
Yeah.
happening the entire time.
Yeah, I was literally sitting uncomfortable for the entire movie
Yeah.
Yeah,
where I didn't know if he was going to die.
right.
They kept doing things that kind of seemed like he
made
was
it seem like he was maybe going to.
yeah, like he was stood up on the railing or
Yep.
he dove out into the sea or whatever. I kept wondering, like, is she going to go missing when she
Right.
can't get in the thing?
Yeah.
I kept thinking something must happen here
Mm-hmm.
that is going to add to this story. But
it
nothing ever
didn't.
did.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question? Are we to assume that he did commit
I
unalive
think he
himself?
committed suicide.
I don't like that term.
Okay, unalive himself.
I said
mean-
unalive himself, but I think maybe I
I
don't know.
think-
Is there
Well,
another
took his
better
life,
way?
yeah.
I
took his
think
life.
he took his life.
You do?
after he took her to the airport.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought
she-
too. Because at the
sometime
end,
after-
But there's nothing to suggest.
yeah,
in
there
my-
is. In my mind,
'Cause he
when
wrote
I
the
saw, because did he, maybe I just couldn't see it because of the glare on my phone and it was so
Yeah.
dark on my phone that I don't remember her leaving that, like in the airport with that rug and she had it at her house.
Yeah. I mean, I caught that too, where she had the rug that he weirdly bought.
Yeah, for like 800 pounds.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I don't know. I don't know if he's still alive. They didn't give any. I mean, there was a note.
Baby.
Yeah, she had a baby. I mean, I don't. There was just nothing.
Nothing made sense.
Nothing made sense. I was more annoyed throughout the movie than anything else. I
Yeah,
think
same.
the strobe lighting.
I never got that.
I never understood that.
I never understood
either.
the strobe light.
They would like go into this room. It looked like a dance party or something with a strobe light, and you could kind of see the older version of what was her name, Sophie, and Callum was in there, but you never really saw anything clear at all. There were some, Lauren. I know that we texted about this
Yeah.
part. The spots when they would just like leave the camera on while they were like breathing.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Was that and he's doing like Tai Chi.
Yeah, I was doing the
out
Tai
on
Chi.
out on the thing, smoking a cigarette and just breathing. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I get it, but it went on for like 5 minutes
Really?
straight.
That's why
And
it
I'm
went
like,
so
I
long.
can't. It's
are
so
we supposed to-
uncomfortable.
Right.
It was like I wanted to scream.
Did anybody shed any tears watching this?
No.
I did.
You
Really?
did?
The time that I did was when they finally seemed to be having some fun and were dancing to David Bowie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That was cool to me. That
Yeah.
was a little bit emotional for me.
Okay.
But that was the only part of this movie that I feel like, and I'm sure that there's so many like movie buffs out there that are like, what? Like, how could you not have just thought that this was a masterpiece? Because
Right.
I'm not a cinematographer. I don't know what to look for that. I know this is a very well put together movie.
I guess.
But but the plot, there was no story. There was no
Right.
plot. It was just
Everything was conjecture.
everything.
The description that I read at the beginning
Yeah.
was straight from IMDb. Memories real and imagined fill the gaps between as she tries to reconcile the father she knew with the man she didn't.
None of that
That's-
happened.
None of that.
That didn't happen.
No. And so I went on.
Did you look it up?
I
Like,
did.
Yeah.
So I did not like this movie.
Explained,
Okay.
right.
I will never watch this movie again.
oh, and I'll never recommend it
yeah,
to
no,
anyone.
But not only, as you mentioned, does Aftersun have a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, which let's put that into context here. The Green Mile,
Great movie.
79%.
That's crazy.
Ocean's 11,
Great movie. Blockbuster.
83%.
That is just.
The Labyrinth, or just Labyrinth, not The Labyrinth, 77%. Batman Forever,
Oh, don't get me started.
41%.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on.
So why? I get Batman Forever. It can't be cheesy, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? The other ones, or any other movie like this, I mean, this thing was nominated for an Oscar. He got nominated for a Best Acting Oscar. Now, sure, his acting was fine. It was believable.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing anything. He
Right.
didn't have to portray a character. He didn't have to do
No.
really anything. Now, fine. This thing won 97 different awards around the world at different
Oh my
at different
gosh, I can't believe
events.
it. Well, see, I picked a good one because I had a lot of cred.
But what did people see in this movie?
I
don't
don't know.
Am I
Art.
that blind?
It had to have just been the art aspect of it, right?
That's all I can think of because
to me-
that's all I can credit it with.
Right. To me, any art in this, okay, I get it. You paint a painting and someone goes and stares at it and goes, "Oh, I can feel the emotion." And then to me, that's all. I honestly kind of hate that. It can make an emotion in you. That's fine. But when people take it to the level where they're like, "This is just," you can feel the pain in this, and you can like. something bothers me about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I won't get too into that. But anything you took from this movie is all what you wanted
Reflected
it to be.
into it.
Right.
Right.
And okay, so I looked up a couple of reviews. Maria E. Gates of Cool People Have Feelings Too, whatever that is, says its striking imagery evokes both the power of memory and its obscurities through the ingenious use of analog video and purposeful audiovisual distortions.
Okay.
I don't know about the
know what that
power of
means.
memory or anything because I didn't know what was happening.
Well, we
Right.
didn't know what was memory and what was real.
Right.
I mean, or what was maybe a perceived memory.
Right.
You know, you
Well, and
sometimes
it
you
wasn't
remember
like
things
they-
that really aren't the way.
Right. But they didn't like put a different filter on when it was
No.
like fuzzy or
No.
she didn't remember it or
Right.
I didn't even know that she was remembering. I thought it was happening in real time for
Was all of it a memory
I don't
except
know.
for her
I don't
waking
know.
up in bed
I don't know.
and going to
No
get the baby
idea.
crying? I mean, I don't know.
And they didn't give us any context as
No.
far as like her relationship now, her baby, and nothing, no context whatsoever.
Right. Valentina Murillo of El Español in Spain says, Aftersun is a sad and beautiful exploration of grief, of Sophie's struggle to reconcile complex and conflicting feelings about her father, and her struggle to forgive his decision, and perhaps to forgive herself.
For what?
What?
Well, I
What
think-
decision did
I
he
think-
make?
I
think
do
we're
think
to
he,
assume
I
he
think
took his life.
Took his life.
But we never got that.
No, but the fact
Did I
that
miss something?
No.
I don't.
No,
Well,
I just
that's
think that
frustrating.
was implied, and
It
you
was
were
implied.
supposed to think that.
It
And there
wasn't
was a-
implied well enough. in
No,
my
it wasn't.
opinion.
No,
well,
you're
I
right.
thought, well, when he walked out into the ocean, I thought he was going to
Yeah,
be
me
gone.
too. And then when
And-
they were like panning the room, I thought for sure we were going to see his feet
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
but
or he wouldn't be there.
right,
And
and he was.
and then he
was
wrote that
always there.
postcard that said,
Right.
"I'm sorry, Sophie," or whatever
Yeah.
it said. It said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sorry, Sophie. I love you," something like that.
Yeah, I didn't really stop it to see what the
Yeah,
Yeah, it said
I
something
didn't
about
see it
being
either.
sorry.
yeah.
And he said something about. He also mentioned something about never thought I'd live to be 30.
Oh yeah,
Much
and he
less
got
40.
real weird about.
He got real weird about that.
Yeah.
So there
Okay.
were signs that I felt were signs that he's going to end his
Mm-hmm.
life.
Well, and when he walked away in the airport through that door, he walked into the strobe light room.
Right.
Did you guys
Right,
catch
and
that?
Yeah.
that's the only time I felt like, okay, this is a memory. This is something else. This isn't what really happened. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I
It was
just feel
awful.
like I kept thinking that there were so many parts. So if we're to believe, if we're to somehow assume or it was implied that this was their last time seeing each other. They had this, for the most part, beautiful vacation. You know, a little awkward. You know, he didn't go sing karaoke
Yeah,
with her for
why?
some
That's
reason.
weird.
He shows up naked in her bed
Yeah, that
after
doesn't make any sense.
going and jumping in the ocean. He had an unexplained cast on his arm
Yeah.
that he then cut off, and it looked like he was bleeding or something,
Yeah,
but then he wasn't.
Yeah.
He got on the balcony. He was smoking, even though they said at one point something about smoking being bad or something.
Yeah, when they were talking about the hookah.
Yeah, the hookah. Yeah, and it all gives you cancer and blah blah blah. So, but they do these things. They go, you know, diving or whatever. She meets a boy that she kisses weird and awkwardly with the worst sound effects in the world. She goes and there was these weird like this, like-
Teenagers, those
well-
older kids.
well, there
that-
was this weird like undertone of like sexual component throughout the whole thing that made me really uncomfortable because
Right.
like there was also this weird like suicidal
Yeah.
undercurrent.
Yeah.
Even the parts that that should have been super sweet between a dad and the daughter, like I know that you said that one spot like kind of brought up some emotions in you, but I was watching that just going, what's gonna happen here?
Right.
Right.
And that's kind of why I think I got emotional is because I assumed that we were going to find out that he
Right.
was no longer alive or that he was going to like, you know, she was going to wake up the next day and he was going to be nowhere to be found and
Right.
her mom was going to have to come pick her up or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I thought something was going to happen.
Right.
So before I knew that we are left with nothing,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, this is going to be probably now it's going to get real dark after this.
Yeah.
And this is going to be like their last happy moment together. And that's I think what brought up the emotion. And also, you know,
David Bowie.
that song just
Yeah.
is awesome. So
Yeah. So
it was that
But
was
the
a
after
fun,
sun part,
like,
you know,
but
they
what
were
is
they
that
were
after
well.
sun
That's when
part?
they were rubbing on their faces and on their back. They were putting the after sun lotion.
Oh, I
It
had
had
no idea
something to
about
do
that.
with. I did read a little bit of an article, and
Yeah.
they said that was, and to me that had a sexual undertone that was really creepy to me.
Yeah.
For some reason, it felt weird
I didn't even notice any
when
after
because
sun,
they were
whatever.
rubbing each other's faces and they were rubbing their shoulders, and
Yeah.
it was. But you had no idea
Yeah,
that
and
that's
that
what
didn't-
it was.
And see, when I watched that part didn't weird me
No,
out.
I
'cause
didn't get
thought
weirded out by that either.
It was weird to me when she was like, "I'll do it myself," and she tried, and he's like, "Oh, you can't," and so he helped her, and then the part was over. To me, I thought, okay, well, it's just a girl that doesn't want her dad to do that, but she
Right.
realizes she still needs him or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making conjecture there about what's
Right.
going on because I was trying to pull something from
Yeah,
this
you were
movie.
trying to put meaning into it somehow.
But okay, so back to my point though of if we are to assume this was their last hurrah, and then he sends her home, waves goodbye,
Ends his life.
ends his life, and that's the thing. Okay,
That's it.
if that's what happened, we didn't need to see everything that happened in that. What was the point?
Right.
What was the point of this movie? I do not know.
I don't either.
If it was to bring up if it had some weird, like, if it was telling a story of her now and she kept flashing back to what was going on and the reasons that this is impactful
Right.
to her, okay, I get that. And then I can understand there being memories real and imagined, like, or if she found out that some of her memories of her dad weren't real
Right.
or something like that,
Yeah.
and she was trying, she was trying to, like, I don't know, figure out what was real and what I don't know.
Just put it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there just wasn't much.
No, there wasn't anything to go on.
Well,
There's just a lot of pointless
I've
scenes.
written down here, not what I expected. What was the point?
No.
Yeah.
What was the message?
Yeah, there
I
wasn't a
don't-
message.
I
I
thought
mean,
it
I
was-
didn't get a message out of it.
I have
No.
got the message, don't watch this again.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But she was a good actress. The little girl was a
They were all
fabulous
fine.
actress.
Yeah.
He was a good actor.
But again,
But
they
it-
didn't
it
really have to
Didn't
do
No, they didn't have to
anything.
act.
No,
at
but
all,
sometimes
really.
I think it's hard to act naturally. They
Sure.
seemed
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You know, they seemed like a real mom and dad. I mean,
Yeah, daughter
dad
and
and
dad,
daughter
yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
Like it was like I said before, it was almost like they really recorded what was
Right.
going on, and it was natural.
Sure,
Right.
and that was in my opinion, the only,
Saving
yeah,
Yeah.
the
only
only thing.
thing
and
I can.
I just don't do well. Call me whatever you want. If I'm I'm not a film purist. I don't need things to be, you know, the reason a movie like this does so good in Hollywood is or in the critics or whatever, are because it's deeply emotional and you have to be a really in the know.
I
and
guess because
you
I
have to
didn't have
really
that kind of a notion.
you have to really
Yeah.
understand film and cinematography and
Yeah.
the nuances of this to really understand. And if you don't, you're not really well. Fine. I don't think I want to be a part of,
Yeah.
Right.
that then because this was boring
Yeah, it was.
to me, and I can't imagine that I'm alone on this. Like,
No.
obviously, I'm not.
It was
No.
boring, but it was gripping because I
was-
kept waiting for something to happen.
It was
Yeah.
And I-
beyond boring to me. It was so boring to me that I was trying to get through it, and I had to pause it so many times that it took me all day, literally from 9 a.m. until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to finish it.
Right.
And when I was done, I texted Jeff, "Are you kidding me?"
Right.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. It,
I'm
I
sorry.
was like,
No,
well,
there's no
because
way to
right
know.
before that, Jeff was like, "It gets better," and I'm like, "Oh, good." And he's like, "I'm lying." And I'm like,
I sent a GIF that said, "Honestly, I'm lying." Yeah, there was just again.
No disrespect to anybody who worked hard on this movie, but
Well,
more
if somebody
love.
liked it, because look
Please,
at all
somebody,
of the look at
Right.
yes, but somebody tell
review.
us why.
yeah.
Right. What are we missing here?
Yeah.
Because, and truthfully, I'm probably not going to be able to be convinced because
No,
it
no,
just
no.
didn't entertain me.
No.
And I don't do well with slow burn movies
No.
like this. I just don't. Now I don't
There's
need.
a way to do a slow burn
Well,
movie.
I think peanut butter, whatever that
Falcon.
peanut butter falcon is a little slow.
Oh boy, I didn't think so.
I mean, it's
never
it's
seen
just
that,
calm. I mean, it's like
It's calm,
it's
sure.
calm, and it's about this, these people, them drifting along doing
Right.
what they're doing, and I absolutely loved that.
Me too.
movie.
Yeah.
And this is what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
It was another peanut butter
A
falcon kind
little
of movie.
sort of a feel good.
Yeah, a feel good
buddy movie. With,
coming of
and-
age.
Yeah.
Father daughter thing.
Yeah.
That would have been really good.
but just I just don't do well when there's seemingly arbitrary holding the camera on one thing for no reason.
And this
I don't understand that. It just that happened every scene in this movie.
and it was over the top in length.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't do it for 2 seconds. They did
no.
it for like
it was a long
a
time.
long.
No, I mean obviously in film
Whole
you have
conversations where you're just focused on his elbow and the table with his phone laying there,
Right.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
or not even conversations.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there watching a scene
Wondering-
supposed to get something out of this. Doesn't work for me
No.
at all.
No.
And truthfully I get more frustrated the more I
more I
talk
talk
about it
about
because
it, yeah.
because it just doesn't, like, you spent the time to set the camera here in this spot to just let something happen. Like, you're trying too hard to evoke this emotion in people
Mm-hmm.
when you haven't given them anything to go off of. I just don't
Well, that
get
and
that.
why am I supposed to care? Why do I care about these two?
I don't.
Yeah, I didn't have any emotion towards
No.
them at all.
No.
No.
I didn't have any feelings
No.
for. I felt a little sorry for the little girl
But
because
why?
because I felt like she was just kind of
Yeah.
left out there.
That was the
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
when she was left outside
yeah, I mean,
or
she was
whatever.
just
Yeah.
left, and I felt like she was super mature,
Yeah.
which kind of gave me the idea that she probably had been a little independent,
Right.
all of her life, maybe
Yeah.
because she was on her own.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
But we didn't see any of that.
no,
Yeah. And so to me
This movie was depressing.
don't watch it.
I didn't even find it depressing because there wasn't, like, personally, I probably would have liked it better if it at least
Would have triggered
gave
that.
us some like, if at the very end she had found him maybe dead and she was by herself and she was sitting there while there was an ambulance or something and she had to wait for her mom to come get her, and then it ends. Okay, at least we know now why all of that was so powerful to her. At least we
Right.
know now for sure, like something. I would have still probably not loved the movie, but it would have had some kind of,
Right.
it would have just been a pointlessly
like,
dark movie,
There was
which
no
is kind of
there
what
was
it
no climax to this movie.
No,
There was
there was no
nothing.
like.
There was no
peak.
story arc.
Uh-uh.
There was no plot.
No.
There was no story.
No.
there wasn't.
There wasn't a story. It
So I
was
don't get it.
It was basically you're watching a slice of this girl's life it's like almost like if you came across somebody's like home videos of a vacation that they took with their dad.
Yeah, figure it out.
That's
I
what it
feel
is.
like if we pulled up our
Yeah.
home videos of vacation, it'd be more entertaining than what that
Yes,
was.
I agree.
Yeah, because at least you're trying to.
At least it's something.
Be
Like you're not
showing-
going to pull out the camera and
be
just have
showing
it on somebody's elbow for
Timothy
10
T.
minutes.
Turtle at the lake at Cass Lake.
Right.
You'd-
Tucker.
at least we'd have
Tucker
a
T.
laugh or two.
Turtle.
Tucker T. Turtle.
Not Timothy, but
Tim-
close.
I thought it was
Tucker.
Trucker Tea.
Trucker.
Oh, maybe it is
I think it
Tucker.
was
I
Tucker.
thought it was Tucker. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's Trucker. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's
I'm
put.
trying to put together the memories in the
good-
past. I don't know
Right.
if you got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's put this film behind us. What do you say?
Yeah, let's put this to
So
bed.
we've come to a part in our show where we need to rate this film with an official silver screen review.
Woo!
Each crew
la.
member scores the film on a scale of 1 to 10 items, with 1 being as bad as finding your dad naked on your bed,
Ooh.
and 10 being as great as an all-inclusive resort wristband.
Yes.
The item that is used for scoring changes each episode depending on the content of the movie we watched. This week, we'll be using sulfur baths as our rating. So let's start with the sister. How many sulfur baths do you give Aftersun?
This movie didn't even deserve one sulfur bath.
You
Void of
stayed out
sulfur
of
baths.
Cleopatra's
Yeah,
sulfur bath.
No, I didn't give it any because I don't. There was no point.
Yeah. Yep.
No thanks.
Mom, how about you? How many sulfur baths?
I gave it 1.
Okay.
And I gave it because part of the cinematography I did enjoy and I thought was unique and different. I don't watch that many weird movies, but I gave it 1 for that.
Yeah.
And I liked the little girl. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair
but
enough.
there was no story, there was no purpose, there was no meaning that I could
Yep.
get other than it was about a real confused
Yep.
person.
Yeah, I also gave it 1 sulfur bath. I guess some of the visual aspects were fine in this. I feel like it was over dramatized, which was mostly unnecessary. I would have given anything for a little bit of storytelling. I was longing for that in this. Tell me who these people are, why they are, why this is important for them. Give me some flashbacks.
Something.
Give me something to say why this feels awkward, why this is important for her, why this is. I would have given
Right.
anything for that.
Yeah.
Everything was just left up to assumptions, and I didn't like that.
No.
But all that being said, I gave it 1, which means after we average everyone's scores together, the official silver screen review for Aftersun is 0.666 repeating sulfur baths.
Woo!
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of our listeners for tuning into the first episode of MMDTM Silver Screen Reviews. As I said at the beginning, rate and review our podcast. Follow us on all the stuff. It's in our social medias. Keep an eye out for the next episode of our recurring variety show on My Mama Done Told Me. And we will be back with more movies to Taco Bell on Silver Screen Review. Until next time, this has been My Mama Done Told Me. I have been Jeff.
I'm Lauren. Do I get to say my mama done told me podcast at gmail.com?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Just saying.
She said it at the beginning.
If you would like. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I did it.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
You can go ahead and say it anyway.
No, I was just going to say, like, if you want to email us.
I want to thank you all for listening. Send us an email at where, Lauren?
At my mama done told me podcast at gmail.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Shoinoids. We hope you keep your minds open and be kind to each other. We love you. See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
I'm definitely getting sick.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Jeff. How do you know?
I thought I heard a little something in your throat.
That's why my voice is so deep right now. And I can feel it. My
Turn these off.
being drained of all the things.
Turn them off. Well, you.
Sissy will write you letters.
I thought you were talking to the dog. Sorry.
No.
She looks so funny with that
I
hamburger in her
know.
mouth.
Hers a...
McDonald's commercial.
Okay.
You'd like little jail for your nail?
You want jail?
Yep. Let's go
Oh,
through
now?
this quick.
No,
We're
we got
talking
stuff
about
to talk
this.
about.
I've
okay?
got things.
Yeah, we do.
I've got things to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.